right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 8 of the Red Plates podcast. On this episode, we're going to go into depth with Emily Linden, speaking about her training, her past, her future, and everything in between. It's a really good podcast. I'm not actually on this one. I just listened to it, and honestly, one of my favorite ones that the boys and Paige, who is Trevor's wife, she's replacing me, have ever done. She filled the role perfectly. We might have to kick me off the pod. Paige killed it. And that's the other voice that you'll be hearing. They did not do a little intro about who she was, but it is Trevor's wife, Paige. She's a powerlifter, a lawyer, a legend. So anyway, let's get into the pod. It was a very good one, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Without further ado, the Red Plates podcast.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the Red Plates podcast. This is going to be episode number 8 with Emily Linden. She is the current 63 kilo champ in Canada. So we're going to start it off just by letting Emily introduce herself, and then we'll get into kind of her just competing at Worlds and everything like that. So Emily, why don't you just take a little bit to introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi. I'm 37, recently turned 37. I'm a wife, mother of a soon-to-be 6-year-old daughter, powerlifter since 2017. And yeah, I'm a vet too. I work on food animals, beef cows and sheep and goats. So if you have a pet question, don't ask me. I don't know.
Very cool. Yeah, we always see your stories. We always see your stories of the the interesting procedures and stuff like that. Like you're getting into a little bit ago.
Oh my gosh, Garrett, coach would totally get the really not good receiving end of that, where I would literally have my hand in like the butt of something and I would take a picture from here and be like, speaking of you, and he's just like, God. Please stop.
Yeah, I'm sure Garrett
I thought you were gonna say you did check-ins while you were busy doing that. Got to get the work done, right?
Shit on my face. Yeah, pretty much.
That's hilarious. Okay, so why don't we get into Worlds like we talked about? So you just recently competed at Worlds in Lithuania.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll let's start off kind of with like your prep and stuff like that. So why don't you talk about kind of how that went and things leading into Worlds, how everything was going?
Good. I mean, so this is the third Worlds, and we kind of have a little bit of a shorter turnaround, right? Usually from a qualifier meet to competition. So, again, I think 11 weeks. It was interesting because like I had recently quit my job end of February of this year. I had quit, and we had decided, hey, we're going to change your program structure. Previously I was training 3 days a week, and struggling to hit that with the amount of physical workload I had outside of home and work. So we were going to switch to 4 days a week, but we didn't do that prior to Westerns because it was too close. So the training blocks then into Worlds were the first foray into a 4-day training week for me, which was good. I would say I took a bit of time, probably a whole block, to just get used to it. Like my body wasn't ready for 4 days a week type demand, but I think it paid off, at least at that point. Bench, I had a 2.5 kilo PR on that, and it was fast. And I was like, oh, things are moving. Like, this is nice. Okay, so the extra bench day has I would say it's paid off because I already PR'd with it, but that was literally 2 blocks of training at that. So I'm kind of looking forward to see what that does moving forward. But yeah, expectations were interesting for myself anyway. I had at Westerns, I had set the Canadian record total, and I was kind of hoping hey, if I could do that again, that would be great. That would be hey, that one wasn't a fluke. This is the trajectory that we're on, which is nice. And I'm still kind of in the process of retooling my squat. So it wasn't where I wanted it to be really at Westerns, definitely not set in my new movement pattern there for Worlds. So missing my last squat at Worlds was kind of okay, short-term memory, moving on to the next one. And every time I was sit down for warm-up bench, I could feel myself crying, and I was no. No, you got bench, shut up. Yeah. Lay down and go bench. So I was really proud of myself for that, like being able to have that short-term memory and then move on and have a very successful bench and a very successful deadlift after that. So like what I'm able to do out there, I'm very proud of. And I was able to tie that record that I had previously set. So I was like, all right, cool. Like
Yeah,
placement
not a
wise,
fluke.
it was kind of funny. It was like my best total at Worlds and my worst finish. So it's like, well, if you measure your success on your placements somewhere, you're bound to run into times where you're disappointed, even though it's tying the best you've ever done. Actually, 2 PRs within that. Like, so it's not really the best one to hang your hat on, right? Like, I'm actually really proud of it, even though on paper it's like, oh, she just matched. Or eighth, it's your worst play. It's like the best performance, though. So
Yeah, but hitting multiple
Exactly.
PRs on the international stage is like no joke, right? It's a lot harder to do it when you're flying to Lithuania than just being on Canadian soil. And
right.
even like you're talking about, like if you narrowly missed that third squat, like to be able to kind of like move past that, like when you're competing on the world stage is really tough, like
Mhm.
mentally, just because you're putting so much pressure on yourself, right?
Right. And
I was
like,
gonna say, mental game is strong.
yeah, well, and
Yep.
you're in the prime time session too. So there's 8 people, flights are fast. You go to bench and there's not like you get done squatting, it's like you're moving. Like there's no like, oh, I'm gonna go like I don't smoke, but I'm gonna have a smoke break and then I'm gonna come back in. I'm gonna slowly start like getting ready. And there's none of that. It's like lay down, start your warm up, right? Like
Yeah.
so um I've actually been fortunate enough to be in the primetime session for every Worlds I've been in. So I'm like, oh, that's,
Yeah,
it's exciting. I
that's
like it.
pretty amazing.
It's
Yeah.
fast and it's good. Like it's funny because like for Worlds, like I don't know any different, which is like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
who am I? What is this? I'm just here to have some fun. Um, but yeah, so as far as like training going into like not that I didn't have a lot of expectations, but uh I hold myself to very high standards and objective looking at it, I did more than well. Like I'm very proud of it. Um and I would say though I'm also not done yet. I've got other things in my mind that I want to go for and we'll see what happens in a couple weeks here if I can
Yeah.
get closer to some of those things. But
Hell yeah.
I'm
So
really I
before,
am happy with it.
so you were training 3 times a week before when you were working full time and stuff
Mhm.
like that, and that was, yes, I'd say that's like pretty atypical for someone that's like at your level too, like especially like a middleweight to lighter female, like
Mhm.
that bench frequency. I'm sure it's gonna explode. So
That's kind of that's
love
what I'm
it.
hoping for.
Yeah, yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, 3 days a week. So I would when I was at work, I was averaging 60 to 120 hour work weeks. So I don't know if anybody has followed my training from before. So prior to quitting, a lot of my stories and posts would be like the clock on the wall when I was finished, and they were 11:30, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. I
Oh my
remember pulling like an RPE 9 deadlift at midnight and being like, there's still down sets and accessories. And at some point, I'm just like, screw it. I have to go to bed because I have to work in the morning, kind of thing. But the schedule was really like, in the morning, daughter to school, work all day, get home whenever I got home. If it was my turn to put her to bed, I usually wouldn't lift that night because a lot of times I would just fall asleep in her bed and wake up at like 10 p.m. But if it was not, then I'd 8 o'clock, 8:30 out to the garage and train until well past midnight. And then I would have to wind down. So I'd watch like Young and the Restless until I got tired and then would go to bed around 1 in the morning and do it again. And I'll tell you, it is not sustainable. I don't know. Looking back, I don't know how I did it, to be honest. Like,
And that's the thing. I think one of the, I guess, big changes for you is not even in the training frequency, but in the recovery potential. Like just having the time available to you, because that's, I don't know, it seems like a game changer from an outside perspective. Like that would be
that's
amazing
really,
to have that time back.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's minus the extra training day, which is a shorter day, like, one lift and accessories and, moving on. Um, I've been able to really focus on my recovery. Uh, in multiple ways. Like I can focus on sleep. And that's one thing I'm really working on is trying to get an actual bedtime routine and get off the phone. And with the Olympics on now, I'm like, oh, but like the recap starts at like midnight. And I'm like, I kind of want to see what's going on. I'm
Yeah.
just like, this is not helpful. Sorry, Olympians.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
um,
No, we've
you
been
know,
doing the same thing.
It's almost over. It's fine. We'll come back to the real world soon. Um,
Yeah.
but that, and then we actually got a sauna. My husband and I we're both kind of health and fitness like junkies kind of thing. And so we've been looking at a sauna for a long time. We just got one installed and I've been in it every night for, well, as long as it's been in for like almost a month. And I can't say that it's like its own workout. God, I feel like death in there every time. It's 20 minutes and I'm just like, and I get out and I just lay on the deck and I'm just like, take me.
Yeah. No, we
Is
we
it,
have friends who swear by it.
I'm
They
waiting for
love
that
it.
part.
is it
I'm
one of
waiting.
like the dry saunas, like the wooden kind of thing, or is it like a steam?
Well, it has the ability to do like either. So it's the barrel sauna with the rocks and you can put the water on it or whatever. But so it's like a typical like Finnish sauna.
Okay.
I've been
Cool.
looking at like how to do it well, what's the right temperature to be at. But it's really cool because we got the thing that's like on our phone, so I can finish my workout, have accessories to do, and be like, I'm gonna turn the sauna on now. It'll be like ready in a half an hour, and as soon as I'm done, I'm like right to the sauna and just like roast for
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm a big fan of the heat. Like I have a hot tub, so it's like a little bit different, but it does the
Mhm.
same kind of thing. Like just heats
Yep.
you up. And
Yeah.
whenever we have like a really big session, I'm feeling like extra sore. Like I find it helps a ton just to get in there. Like I think it's just the blood flow and like part of it is relaxation, but I guess if you're cooking yourself to like sometimes it can be stressful.
There's
But
they do say, I know that in the sauna specifically, they said like 20 minutes at 165 Fahrenheit, or maybe a little bit like warmer, is for 20 minutes is this equivalent of 20-minute moderate intensity like aerobic activity, like running. And I'm just like, cool, I hate running. So I'm gonna like run while I sit my butt in the sauna. And there we
yeah,
go. Working my
that
heart.
is cool because then you get all those like adaptations too, and you're not like putting all like the pounding on your joints from running. It's actually like kind of helping your recovery, right? So
Yeah. So I'm,
Yeah.
fingers crossed. We'll see what happens, but like I enjoy it in general. So I'm kind of excited for what happens in the winter when I don't come out of the sauna into like 30-degree heat, and I'm just like, wow, that's still hot,
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the recovery. Like now I have more time, not just for my family, because that was one major reason why I left my work. Um, but really kind of dig into how can I become the best I can be as an athlete, and what does that look like? Like my daughter's home with me all week. So one of the things that we've done, she's been in the garage with me since she was in my belly. Like we have been out there working out together for 6 years plus. And one of the things was like I now have a timer. So my timer on the wall, like I give myself 4 minutes rest in between each attempt or whatever I'm doing. And so I said, hey, when that's on and it's ticking down, I can do whatever with you. I can spot you on gymnastic stuff. We can play hide and seek or tag or whatever. But as soon as that goes off, I'm lifting. Give me my 30 seconds and then I'll set the timer again and we're back. So it's keeps me moving, but we've kind of compartmentalized where my brain is at that time. And I don't have to kind of get like frustrated that I'm getting nothing done. And she's
Yeah.
old enough to
Oh,
respect it now, which is cool.
that's a pretty good system.
Yeah.
yeah, honestly, it's very nice because sometimes like powerlifting training, like you're having like 2-3 hour sessions sometimes, and you can also double that up as like a little fun time. Like
Yeah.
that's not bad, right?
Yeah, it's super handy, especially because she likes to be in there. So it's like, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Does she enjoy being in the gym, watching her mom do some crazy things?
Um, I don't know. Yes and
Or
no. She's mostly gymnasticy,
be
but she has
determined?
her own bar. So
Yeah.
every so often I can get her to deadlift with me. But after that, she also, I'd say she's gonna be a bench queen because she will not squat with me. I can kind of get her to deadlift, but if I'm like, hey, you want to bench? And she's like, yes. And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Thank
it's a promise.
you."
Oh yeah,
No, I think it's super beneficial having her just in there, honestly, in terms of seeing you with I don't know, the regimen and just being in there every day. Like that's super motivational. And I don't see how that could ever be a bad thing. So yeah,
I'm really
I think
hoping
it's
that
amazing.
yeah,
yeah,
I'm really hoping that it wears off on her. At some point she'll look back and be like that, like I taught her something through sitting through all of this stuff. Like something good came.
yeah.
Some
Oh,
Does she
yeah.
watch like your live streams and stuff like that when you're at Worlds and stuff too?
She does. Yeah, my husband
Yeah,
makes sure he's like off and is home with her, and she came to Commonwealths with me, and she came to Malta and stuff. So she's not, it's not like she's never been to one, but they definitely go out of their way to watch when they don't travel with me. So like for nationals, she won't be coming. So hopefully it's probably going to be during school hours. So maybe she won't see that one, but maybe catch up on it or something.
Very
Oh
good.
yeah.
Why don't we get into like your powerlifting journey as a whole, kind of get into how you started, like what brought you into powerlifting in the first place?
So let's take a trip. No. I was a gymnast for a very long time, 20-ish years. And then when I basically stopped when I went to vet school, and I went to vet school I went to Ross University on an island in the Caribbean, and there was one gym on the island, and it was for the locals. And I remember showing up there a couple times and being like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I did a lot of like silly, like not silly, but like P90X and whatever. And then a couple buddies of mine were like, you should do these named workouts, like CrossFit style named workouts. I had no idea what we were doing. We did them on the kids' jungle gym at the school before class. And they're like, we have to do thrusters. Well, what the frick is a thruster? Like, I don't know. So we would go down to the beach and grab rocks and like with rocks and then run. And I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing, but this is fun. So when I got back from vet school, I started CrossFit, and then I competed CrossFit for like 4 years. And I loved it. It was like gymnastics and strong elements, and I was strong, and I was a gymnast before, so it all kind of felt great, except like it tore my shoulders to pieces, and I had already had 2 shoulder surgeries, and I was just like, I can't do this without pain anymore. And we ended up, I remember having a discussion with my husband, said like, you can go as far as you can like this open season. And we agreed that like wherever that ended was where we're going to end, and we're going to try to start a family. So I was honestly at that point, I could give it my all and then say, I am ready to walk away, knowing wherever it ended. And I was tired. Like I was just so beat up and stuff. And then after that ended, and before I got pregnant, I tried to do just Olympic lifting because I loved it. Like snatch and clean jerk they're just so pretty when they're done well. But again, like shoulders and overhead position are just not friends. Like I have no mobility that way. I would just beat myself to crap trying to get into it. So I was like, well, I'm strong, so I'm just gonna like squat. And then someone was like, well, there's like powerlifting. And I was like, well, what's that? So I'm like Googling powerlifting, at 2017. And then I found a coach close by in Guelph and started training a little bit there. And he's like, you should compete. Oh, okay, sure. So I did. In 2017, my first meet was that vault barbell open, and I had a good meet. I won. I was pregnant at the time and didn't know it. So it was like one of those like, oh, that's fun. Cool. Well, and so basically when I trained a little bit I did train through my pregnancy, but I kind of went back to CrossFit style stuff because I could moderate a whole bunch of stuff and, I could row instead of run and whatever. And really had no plans on coming back.
Oh, I think it froze.
She freeze for you guys, yeah?
Yeah.
Hopefully she comes back. We'll just wait for a second, and if not, I guess I can stop the recording and we'll restart a new meeting.
Yeah, I think so.
I think this happened with somebody else and it just like fired back up.
Yeah, it's normally
Okay.
our internet that would be the problem.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let me see. Can you hear us, Emily, or no? No.
Can you text in this chat? I think you can, right?
I'll message her on Instagram.
Oh, now I can't even see her.
She might have logged back out and back in though, too.
Maybe, yeah.
Let's see. I'll just message her on Instagram.
Oh, she's
I'm
back.
Are we back?
We're saying it's usually our internet that's the issue.
Oh, she's froze again.
Oh no. Okay, well, at least we'll put Luke to work at this part, and he can figure out the editing. And
Yeah, he'll have a job.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, you're back.
Oh,
Oh, there we go. We're
Okay.
saying we'll have a job for Luke when he gets involved too. He can do the editing, splice it together.
Okay. Okay, so what was the last bit that you guys got? Because I wasn't sure. It kind of y'all froze and I kept going.
Yeah,
We
you
were to
you were on your last.
2019, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay, so I ended up
Oh, no.
pushing myself through the competition schedule in 2019. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So I did Easterns and provincials, Eastern Canadians and provincials in 2019 to get to 2020 nationals. And then we all know what happened after that. 2020 nationals done, world shuts down. Blah. But anyway, if it hadn't been for pushing myself through that competition cycle, I wouldn't be where I am today. Because I just kind of like handled my way through that.
Things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's how I got into it. I have a lot of fun with it. Like the first meet was just one of those, like, the community was so wonderful. Everyone was so great that I just kind of wanted to keep going, like keep showing up because I liked the community aspect of it or the presence of everyone in it. So yeah.
Yeah, well, Trevor and I were just saying too, it's like your first meet, you totaled over 400 kilos already. So we're like, you had to have had a background in something, right? So I guess all
Yeah.
like the gymnastics and CrossFit stuff obviously
Yeah.
like led you into the powerlifting. So you already had like a very strong foundation.
Yeah. It's funny because I go back and I'm like, my squat looks different now and my deadlift looks way different. But I was like, I don't know how I did it looking like I did, but doesn't matter. Built some strength somewhere. Here we are.
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
been watching any like the gymnastics and the Olympics?
Oh, you bet. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was amazed, like the Canadian men's team. There's the one guy like legit looks like a bodybuilder, like pro. I was like, holy crap, these guys
Yeah.
are jacked.
Those guys are insane. Like when I was training years and years ago, the men's team at the gym I was at, those guys pretty near all got full scholarships to wherever they wanted to go because they were all just so good at it. Like if you could make it through high school, you were set. It was insane. They were so good
Wow.
and so nice. It was wonderful.
And then there's like
in
Ellie
terms of
Black. Sorry, you go ahead, Paige.
Oh, I was just gonna say in terms of like that dynamic, I find it interesting with powerlifting. You're talking about the collegiality in it and
Mhm.
how nice everyone is and how welcoming the environment is and how that drew you in. And I think it's just one of those things. I don't know if that's been something that you've seen in the other sports you've been a part of, CrossFit versus gymnastics versus powerlifting. It's if that's something different or something that is the same. I don't know.
I would say I don't know if I was mature enough to recognize it when I was in gymnastics. Certainly, like within our team, we were, but like camaraderie amongst competitors on different teams. Like we saw that in the Olympics this year on the gymnastics side with Simone versus Rebecca, and it was beautiful to see because that's what you want. But I would say it's probably not as prominent in the other sports as it is in powerlifting. Like I'm actually pretty good friends with people from all sorts of different places through powerlifting, but not through gymnastics.
Sure.
I think we also, at the level that we are, recognize the sacrifices and the time and effort that it takes to get here. So there's a level, like a mutual level of respect. And, like, I don't care. I do care if people beat me, but I don't care because I know the work that I'm putting in. And like, if you're going to beat me on your best day, great job. Cause like I'm coming at it with all I've got to. So, I think that's one of the big things is that you can recognize that in your competitors. And maybe it's because I'm 37. I don't know.
But it's like it's an element of
mature enough.
respect.
Yeah.
Respect for the hard work rather than taking it as a personal affront that
Right.
someone is
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And then like you want that betterment for everyone else, right? Like if one of the things I have recognized in myself lately is in the last little bit, like I don't care to be remembered. Like, what's your legacy here? What's your legacy on this earth? Right. And I feel like I've got in the vet world and in powerlifting, because those are my two externals and obviously with my family. But I think what it comes down to for me is like I keep saying I don't care, but I do. But you understand what I'm trying to say here is that I don't care about what I've accomplished so much as how I've made people feel
Yep.
in the process. So I would rather be remembered for being a good person and like cheering everyone on and being like an open, positive influence on someone and encouraging, rather than like, you know, if I won worlds or whatever, like it means nothing if I'm a jerk. And that's how I see it.
Oh, I definitely appreciate you saying that. I think that that's honestly I don't know, not a common attitude in powerlifting, but it kind of is. It's people wanting to leave a legacy and leaving behind that positive feeling, because records are going to be broken, totals are going to be broken. It's going to happen, but ultimately, if you're remembered for the type of person you are, that's I think you've successfully done that.
I wrote Maria after breaking her 63 kilo record, and I said like something like, "I'm sorry," and she was like, "It's there to be broken," and I was like,
Yeah.
"You're so wonderful."
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't see a better way to go about it. So I'm glad that I've run into nothing but positivity, because that's what I want to put out into the world as well. So it's nice.
Yeah.
You find there's a difference so like between so obviously like your first meet, every local meet, like everyone's yelling at each other. No one wants anyone to miss any lifts, obviously.
Mhm.
I think the higher and higher you get into competition like worlds, for example, like on game day, do you find is there a little bit of like friction between competitors, or is everyone just kind of chill on that day?
I think it would be silly to think that there's not a little bit of friction, because obviously if you're going up against someone who say takes the world team spot, if they hit this deadlift, you're going to be like, yay, please don't make it, please don't make it. You know what I mean? 'Cause you want that. But at the same time, like if they're pulling for a PR, something they've never pulled before, like you're still going to be pretty excited about that person. It stings at the same time that you're proud of them. So, you know, sometimes it's just more fuel to the fire to be like, okay, I got to work a little bit harder than I was, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I can't say that. I would say the camaraderie is still there, um, even if it doesn't work out in your favor. So
Yeah, I think like you said too, it's almost like a respect thing. It's like you both went through like what you had to go through to get to this level. So like when they do hit those big lifts, you're like, okay, like I don't want you to beat me, but like that's awesome, you know?
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
You're like, well, and it's really reminding yourself to only like really focus on what you can control, which is your effort. You know, if you gave everything you've got on that day, then even if you get beat, like you still can't be upset with your effort that day. And that's the most important thing, because that's the only thing you can control.
Yeah, and like you said, like from Malta to Westerns, like you put like a hefty 15 kilos on your total, right? And then manage to
Mhm.
replicate on that on the world stage. So like regardless of the placement, it's still like you're making huge strides when it comes to your total. So like I think that's what really matters in the end, right?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to like we'll see what happens at nationals, but then in theory, between nationals and worlds, like there's a big chunk of time. And honestly, like 3 meets in 6 months, 3 big meets in 6 months is like, whew, here we go. You know, we're at the end, but there's going to be a rest period and hopefully a
Yeah.
payoff at the end of that. So, you know, one step at a time. But yeah, I mean, if I think before, yeah, exactly. Like I had a little bit of time and I was able to put more on, and that was at a 3 day work or 3 day lifting like schedule. So like what's going to be when I'm more dialed into a 4 day and I have better recovery and sleep and like better or different balance in my life than I had before, like it'll be something to hopefully something
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah. And I think people underestimate the toll that stress takes on the body, especially from work and having that demand every day, working 60 to 120 hours. Like
Mhm.
that's kind of insane. So
Yeah.
I think that
It's very insane.
yeah. So I think that yeah, just in terms of general well-being, I think that's going to be pretty awesome for you. So I'm excited for you to have
Well,
the 4 days and the time. That's going to be as I think it's going to be awesome.
thank you. I
Yeah.
No, and like where I was, like as a farm vet, I would drive like everywhere, right? So like our practice radius was like ungodly large. It was, if you know where I am in Ontario, down like west of Toronto, it was to the border, like to
Oh
Sarnia,
wow.
3 hours that way, 3 hours the other way past Toronto, and then up the Bruce Peninsula, Lion's Head, like top of the peninsula type stuff. And it was just like I mean, I remember I got called out at like midnight for a calving at the in Lion's Head, and I was like, well, it's a 2.5 hour drive, so I'm gonna have to pull over and sleep on the
Yeah.
way because I know I'm not gonna be able to make it. That was an hour job, and then I got home at 6, and was like, cool, I get to have a half an hour nap before I have to get up and start my work day. Like the entire day was done. I got it. Remember, I grabbed a Diet Coke out of my fridge at 3 in the morning and was like, well, here we
Here we
go.
go.
I
Like, and
remember
it's
saying to the guys, I was like, I have to ask you about this. You posted the other day on your story, I think it was like intra workout, you were drinking a Diet Coke. I
oh
was
yeah.
like, is that one of your secrets, or that's the pre-workout of choice, or?
Oh my God, yeah. I actually legit just asked Diet Coke to sponsor me and I got turned down. But
Worth a shot.
Diet Coke has been like a staple. Like a friend of mine painted this for me.
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah, it's hard when I go to different countries and it's Coke Zero and not Diet Coke. 'Cause I was like, it is not the same. It's gross, and I don't appreciate.
I feel like Diet Coke has this like die-hard fan base. Like people that drink Diet Coke like love Diet
It's
Coke.
the aspartame that like
Yeah.
keeps our souls alive and happy, I think.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you're a diehard Diet Coke fan, does that mean there's a hate for Diet Pepsi?
Oh, we don't mention the P word in this house.
Oh,
I
For
will
those
God.
drink a
listening,
Diet
I held up
Pepsi
a Diet Pepsi bottle.
at a restaurant with Linden, but not by itself. It needs altered in some capacity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But have you tried the Diet Peach?
I was
Pepsi?
just gonna say that.
I saw it in the store and I was like, I can't. Because
Too
if
loyal.
I like
Should.
it, I'm going to be
Should.
upset.
It's so good.
No.
Funny.
All right, you're
No.
convincing me. Gosh darn it.
Do we want to dive in more like to, so how many years were you working full time as a vet, doing all this crazy stuff like you mentioned, and competing at a high level? Like how many years were you balancing that?
11 years.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Do we want it? Let's get into more, because I think this would obviously help a lot of people that maybe are going through similar situations, like have really stressful jobs and are trying to get into powerlifting. Like what would you feel like, what do you think are the biggest things that like impacted your ability to do that for so long?
Expectations. I think having realistic expectations of what you can do. Because I think a long time, well, because I did CrossFit first, right? And so several years of that 11 was CrossFit years. And I kid you not, I would go straight from work to a gym in Cambridge. They gave me the key so that I could close up because I would lift and work out like wads 4 to 5 hours a night, 5 nights a week, maybe
Oh my
6.
gosh.
Like I was, and then a 40-minute drive home. Like I was like, you know, stupidly blinders on. And it wasn't really realistic. It was fine and I did well, but it took a major toll. I mean, we put life on hold for a very long time because of that. And so when I got into powerlifting, then I also had a coach at the time who really, he gave me, here's the work to do. Here's the work to do. And I would kill myself trying to get it done rather than say, hey, it's not working. I need less. I need something that I can be more efficient with, or like, how can we whittle this down to the absolute necessary bits? Because my time commitments, it's just way too much work, for me to be able to fit in that time. So I think, knowing your goals is big, and open communication with your coach, and then being on the same page with expectations. Like if he's expecting me to do all this and I am not able to do it, but I don't tell him, it looks like, I don't know, it looks like I'm not trying, or there's some sort of expectation mismatch that he's wanting me to do. I don't know. But like those are some big things. And I think when you're young, you have an ability to recover that you just don't have when you pass 35. And then as you get older still, like you need more time to recover for your body to like, I mean, you could go out on a bender and be like, I'm gonna do a 1 rep max the next day and probably do it and like do well. And like that's just not where I'm at. Like I need 3 days to recover from like one Summersby. Okay. Like it's not the same anymore. So but I think that's big. I think the other thing too is finding where the balance lies. and you have to have a very open and honest conversation with yourself. Like we had floated the idea of a 4-day week for a year or two, and it's like it's really be helpful, but and I wanted it. I was like, but every time I'm on call, I'm gonna have to drop that fourth day. So like, how realistic is a 4-day work week? Because when I was on call, you would be like on call one day during the week, so you would work 8 to 5, and then you'd be the only doc on from 5 to 8 in the morning, and then you work, so there was a 36-hour time frame where you would work. But when it was the weekend, it was you worked all week, then Friday at 5 till Monday at 8 a.m. It's only you. And then so I'm like, well, if I have a day in the week and then a weekend, then there's only 3 or 4 days and I have to do everything there and it's all crammed. And I have tried so many times to work out on a weekend. I was on call, got changed, warmed up, got called out, and just been like pissed. So I just like quit trying because it would just be frustrating. So having, I don't want to say lower expectations, but if you're just like, I can't guarantee that I'm going to be available for that, well, then don't count yourself available for it, because it's going to screw up data. It's going to screw up time commitments. You're going to get frustrated. And like anytime you're frustrated, your stress level goes up and you're just adding more negativity to what is powerlifting, what should be fun. So, managing those expectations is really important.
So when you had the 3 days, like I guess that probably helped a lot when it comes to flexibility. Did you like move them around and just kind of do it whenever you could throughout the week, especially when you're on call, you could just kind of push the days?
Yeah. Like if I was on a Monday and I was supposed to lift, I'd be like, all right, that's now a Tuesday. And I'd be
Yeah.
like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or, things like that. It was nicer in that sense. And if I say it was a late night and one of those like pulling a deadlift at midnight, well, then I might push my accessories to the next day and just say, I'm just going to have an accessory day and just get caught up there. And then at least it affords me some time to sleep, and then trying to manage the schedule that way. Coming into meet prep, I would try very hard not to do that. And I would even switch on call with people the month out to be like, I need a set schedule because I'm competing on this day. And, I would try to just put myself on call every Tuesday. So it just aligned better with what I was trying to do. But not everyone has those luxuries. And thankfully I did. And I had amazing coworkers who helped me out that way, especially like meet prep into like worlds and stuff. I'd be like, eat guys. And they're like, oh, yes. I'm like,
Did
okay.
they all
time
know like
again.
you were competing at Worlds and stuff like that? Like did you talk to them about it?
Oh yeah. And I'd send them like the link and they'd watch when I was, when they're at work, and they would put me on their screens and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that was pretty cool. Even my clients knew. I'd tell them, and sometimes I'd be in the paper and they'd be like, I'd call them 2 or 3 weeks later, I'd be like, hey, like this is, so and so calling about your, sheep or whatever. And it gets to the end of the thing and they're like, did I read about you in the paper? And I was like, yeah, that was me. You can lift that thing. Yeah. Sometimes, usually,
That's awesome.
So yeah, I had really, I mean, I had the best clients ever. They were so kind and supportive, and let me know how you did next time. And I'm like, okay, I'll call you when I'm done.
Well, you
So,
can imagine from their perspective too. Like I'm just calling my like world level powerlifter to come help my cow give birth or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
well, sometimes they would say, they'd be like, oh man, they probably see you walk in. They're like, quick, get it out. She's here. Like, it's this one. But like most of my clients, I'd say a good like 85, 90% of my clients are like Amish and Mennonite. So they were, it was interesting. I love them to death. They like, I have a very soft spot for all of my clients. Like we've been through a lot together. But when I first got started in the vet world where I'm at, I was really the first female beef focused vet in Southern Ontario. And I knew it because nobody wanted me for the first year and a bit. You know, don't send the lady vet. My other 2 vets, the male vets only, blah blah blah. Until, I mean, about a year out into it, should have either quit or this happened, and I went out to a calving. Some guy didn't like me, didn't want me there. Was telling my coworkers didn't want me. I wasn't capable. And they're like, just let her come. And as soon as I got there, he meets me at the truck and he's like, "You're gonna need to call for help. I've been trying, I can't get it." And I was just like, "Sir, give me 20 minutes, please, just 20 minutes. If I can't get it, I promise I will call for help." And he's like, "Ugh," and he lets me in. And then in 20 minutes, I was done. I was cleaning my boots and putting all my stuff away in the back of the truck. And he comes out and he goes, "You did a man's job." And I said, "Yep, tell your friends." And then I got in my truck and I left. And I was like, "I'm gonna get fired just because I'm sassy." Like, oh, but I was like so tired of being like, "Not you, not you." And I'm like, "Just give me a chance." And then by the time I left, I was the most requested vet in the office. And I got to say like thank you and goodbye to a lot of people that we have grown very close over the last 11 years. But it's definitely that in itself has taught me a lot about resilience and just keep showing up. Like if you believe in yourself, you just keep showing up, kind of thing. Like that's
Yeah,
God,
let the
there was
work
ever
speak
a
for
time
itself.
yeah, there was ever a time that pushed that message forward. It was then. So
I was gonna say you didn't seem as sassy as I would have been in that scenario. If he had said that you did a man's job, I said, "No, I did it better." By the
I
sounds of
did
it.
it smarter. I know
Yeah.
there was a lot of swearing in the truck after the door shut, that's for sure. But we keep it classy on farm. We know how to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I forget
Yeah.
where we even started with that.
No. But I think we talked a lot about how you're gonna, I guess, benefit from taking time off from work. But I think that would have been and correct me if I'm wrong, but a very difficult decision for you to take a step back from it, having put all the work in to get that far into your career as well. And I'm sure you in ways look forward to get back to it. I
Yeah.
don't know if you have ways that you're still involved in that community or you're still
I
keeping on while
do.
you're taking time
Yeah.
off.
Okay, so part of me leaving, I mean, there's several things that went into it, but family was a big one for sure. And uh yeah, I ended up having 4 weeks of notice and they never pulled me off the road. So I got to say goodbye for 4 weeks and that was lovely because I got to see a ton of people and I was classy about it. I didn't tell them exactly why I was leaving, but just I need more time with my family and that's all that needs to be said for now. And and I got to really thank the people who helped improve my and grow my career, and turn me into the vet that I am today. And I did a lot of crying and a lot of thanking, but on the other side of it, I was told by people that I was the missing link to the success of their operation. I was the only reason they were able to grow to the size that they were because they had, my support and my guidance, and we wouldn't be where we are right now unless it was for you. And I've made friends. I've made friends in the community. One fella, um, I love him to death. We've basically started our careers, him in sheep farming and me as a vet at the same time. And I remember the birth of their first daughter. I found out like 6 weeks later, and I called him and I was like, "Hey, um, they named her Emily." And I said, "Please don't tell me if I'm wrong. But I am honored to have your daughter named after me. Please don't say otherwise." And he never did. So I was like, okay, at least I wasn't the name that was like, don't do that, So I wasn't on the no list.
Exactly.
One guy named his truck after me. He bought a truck that had to be you had to like nickname it in your phone. And he was like, look. And I was like, "Oh, I've got a baby
Yeah.
and a car, so I just need a boat." And I've hit the trifecta of things named after me. No, honestly, it's been lovely. And the amount of people that are like, "Let me know when you're back because you've got a client for life." And it's just and so supportive. You're leaving for the right reasons. Like family's most important. I had guys telling me that they wish they spent more time with their kids when they were younger. And I'm just like, that is heartbreaking on a level I didn't know I could experience. Like, okay, and I'm just like, oh, don't cry in front of him again. Like, I've already done it, Um,
Yeah.
but it
But
really
reinforces your decisions. Yeah.
100%, 100%. And now, I'm guest lecturing at a bunch of different places. Like I've been asked to speak at conferences. Like I'm going to Saskatchewan in January to talk. I'm going out to Alberta in November. I'm actually speaking next week at a sheep tour. that kind of thing. So I get
Very
to
cool.
see all these guys again. And just they're gonna ask me when I'm back, and I'd be like, I always told them next SAP season I'll be back. But I am waiting out a non-compete from my previous contract. I have a year 50-kilometer non-compete. So I'm like, in that time, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, and just kind of move myself along in a different direction, and knowing that that vet avenue is still available to me later. The biggest thing would be in a capacity that I want it to be in.
More of a sustainable approach.
100%. And I've talked to people. I'm like, I'm really not willing to work more than, X number of days a week, because I still want to be able to go on field trips with my daughter and do, powerlifting and all these other things. Like, vet med doesn't have to rule my life like it has for the last decade. And so I think moving forward, it's going to be like fun in a very interesting way, because it's going to be what I want to build out of it. And that's really exciting. And so, and also keeping like, I'm not willing to shut the powerlifting door to do it. So I'm like, cool, like, what does this look like? Well, whatever I want it to be, actually, which is really, I've been thinking about it a lot and thinking about a lot of stuff a lot. So like my brain just, lots of different stuff.
Oh, lots of exciting things.
Yeah. So anyway, that was, I can't say too much more, but there is something I think we're going to touch on at the end, and I'll mention it now, is a children's book that I'm in the process of writing. It's about powerlifting. It's uses my daughter as the main character, kind of thing.
Very
But
cool.
it's basically some of just like a little lesson. It's not going to be a big book. It's just going to be like, she sees me in the gym doing the things, probably failing and crying because I do that, and then so, but like, what happens next? Does she quit? Does she keep going? Kind of thing. Does she try again? And then like, can Charlie bring that into her own life? And how does that look? And does she remember the lessons there? Kind of thing. But I'm almost finished. There's like 2 little lines that I just can't get to rhyme yet, and I'm trying to figure out how to word them so they rhyme. And I'm also YouTubing how to draw so I can illustrate it, because freaking, what else am I doing in my spare time? I'm sonneting and drawing and like doing all sorts of other things.
That's very cool. I was gonna ask, is there gonna be pictures? Because that's the only way.
That's the only way Kyle reads book.
Yeah.
It'll be very nicely drawn by me and colored. I actually think I'm going to have my daughter color it, so she will be also as an illustrator on the book, which would be really fun.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah. I should probably work on it a little bit more. But yeah, that's the idea. It's almost
Story of resiliency. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. I should
awesome.
And I think
it's good.
So I guess we want to move into now, like, I guess in the present moment, your prep for the current nationals, because I guess we're about, is it 5 weeks out now, right?
5 weeks tomorrow, apparently.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So how is that going so far? How are you feeling with the free time, the extra recovery, other than the Olympians giving us some distractions? But how's
honestly, the Olympians are super empowering to ladies this summer. So like, I mean, we're just gonna ride that train right now.
Yep.
No, it's actually been really good. I knock on wood, I usually have a mentee B about now, if not closer to the competition, but I'm feeling good mentally. I'm feeling good in my skin. I'm feeling like a lot of the stuff I've been working on over the last 6 months it's finally kind of like coming together. Like, my brain is finally putting puzzle pieces into the right spot. Not that I can't obviously predict performance, but right now, like, where I'm at mentally feels really good, especially if I look back to where I was at this point before Worlds. I was not in a good place. And also I had failed my last heavy squat before Westerns. And then like I had failed more squats before Worlds. And so I'm like, well, who knows what's gonna happen here. But like, I have to say, I have a sports psychologist, and I journal some after training and things. And at least it seems for the last little bit, I've had a lot of positivity on those sides, and it's nice. I don't know if it's because I finally have time to rest and recover and just not be super stressed about work. And um one of the things I'm really focusing on is enjoying what I'm doing. Like, I mean, the days are hard because they're RPEs, 8s and 9s and whatever, but like they're hard. But at the end of the day, I sit there and I'm like, I like today. And that's really, it's really important to recognize that I still have enjoyment in what I'm doing, and focus on that enjoyment of the process. And same thing with retooling this squat that I've been working on for a bit. The last couple weeks I've been like, I think I'm figuring it out. Like, frick, it's been 6 months, you damn well better. But um building that trust in myself again and building the enjoyment instead of coming into a session with like anxiety and nerves, be like, you get to do this. This is fun, and find the fun. Whether it's you wear a cute outfit and you pump freaking Backstreet Boys or whatever it takes. Kayla got me a Spice Girls t-shirt. I put Spice Girls t-shirt. I was like, we're going to squat today. Spice Girls, let's go. And like just trying to find that enjoyment in, I get to move, I get to be here, I get to do this. And that has really pushed me forward. And probably been a bigger determinant of how my sessions go than like, here's a RPE 8, like let's push it. I'm like let's push it, but like who knows what I'm gonna
Find
do.
the joy.
Right, exactly. That's been big. So I'm happy with where I'm at. Really looking forward to this nationals. Just, I don't know, something feels different. So I'm just kind of excited to see where we go. It's hard to explain. There's joy, there's life exuding from me. I feel hasn't been there previously. So
I think that's the key, is like you were saying, is just finding a way to enjoy your training. Even sometimes it can be really stressful when you see that RP9 squat written down. You're like, okay, here we go. But you got to remember that we choose to do it. We do this for fun. I think a lot of times, like when you get into like national level, world level competitions, you put all this pressure on yourself and it can almost become like a second job, right? Like you're kind of like, so we have to make sure that we're enjoying the whole process. So I think that's key.
Yeah. And I find that like meet day is interesting because I really like the energy on meet day. I just like, I mean, I've had a long history of competition in various other sports, so I get to meet day and I have fun. I'm not one of those, I'm not a person that's like headphones on, blinders on, don't talk to me, just, I'm not that. I'm sitting here, I don't know what's bumping in my headphones. Half the time they're not even on, and I'm just like, anybody want some pretzels? I'm just like, anybody around? Anybody wants that? What are you doing? Do you need anything from me? Garrett's like, sit down. And I'm just like, I just
Yeah.
can't.
I gotta
But
take it all in.
and then I had someone tell me before, they're like, you're like one persona back there, and then you get to the platform and it's like she's on. And I'm just, well, yeah, because like that's draining to be like for 4 hours. You gotta be loose and then just be able to turn it on when you gotta push it. But
I think that's a very specific skill though, because not everyone can do that. I'm pretty like blinders on when it's meet day. Like I gotta be in the zone. I know it's hard. Like sometimes when you're training and you're with your buddies or you're with your daughter, for example, it's pretty easy to be chill. And then when it's time to do your set, you're like zoned in. But on meet day, you're pretty good at managing that. Kind of like, are you like pretty high stress on meet day, or you're more kind of chill?
I'm so chill, dude. I do crossword puzzles between attempts.
Oh my god!
If no one else wants to talk, so I'm just like, well, frick.
Were you always like this, or do you feel like the sports psychologist has helped a lot with that?
I think sports psychologist has helped. We talk a bit sometimes about stimulus and what do you need? I'm not a ammonia sniffer, back slapper, nothing. Like I can take this internal rage and bring it to the front on my own. But in the meantime, it just stays chill and crossword puzzles, maybe a good playlist, but that changes. I mean, Eminem's new album is great for like feeling like you want to like run headfirst through a wall. So maybe that'll be a great meet day playlist. But You know, in the meantime, like usually it's like Celine Dion or something, like let's just like get in, like let's just get mellow until we have to like, usually it's like second attempt. It's not even the first one. Like it's the second one. It's like, where do we have to reach? How far down do we have to go to bring the demon out? And then we put it right back.
Yeah.
That's
Does that depend on the lift for you as well? Because I know like for me, like squatting is obviously the most nerve-wracking. You got like this heavy thing on your back, right? But then when it comes to bench time, that's the time when I can like, okay, headphones can come out, I can like chill for a little bit.
it depends on if I've made my squat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
A lot of times the headphones go on. If I like at Commonwealth, I missed my second and I was like, well, you need to smarten up. Go put something else on that like cranks the anger a little bit. And then like the next lift went really well. And I was like, okay, now we can settle in again. But you let it go too far. So I think that I've found that I'm really good at self-regulating. Like I kind of check in with myself after each lift. What do you need? Like, do you need more pump up? Do you feel like your heart rate is up really high, your blood pressure is really high, like you need to come down? Like, are we doing like some box breathing to bring yourself down? Or are we doing a playlist to pump you up? Are you not? Are you too chill for where you need to be? Like I do check in with myself mentally a fair bit. I find that the crossword puzzle will help bring it down and the music will help bring it up. So it's often that if I have my headphones on and I'm crossword puzzling, the headphones are actually off. They're just to dampen some of the outside noise so I can, you know, think of what the answer is on the puzzle.
Very
But
cool. I gotta say that's the first I've ever heard of someone doing a crossword puzzle
Yeah.
in the warm-up room.
but
Yeah.
I do I yeah, I use Amelia Potter for my psychology. She's wonderful. And that is something that, you know, we've not really like specifically talked about. I had a lot of self-developed cues and things in my head, so we've talked about those. But we certainly have gone over like, you know, what is good for meet day? How can we replicate if Westerns was really good for backroom and whatever? Let's write those things down and try to replicate those at the next place so we can have something similar to come back to. And that's usually I'm just one that's like, I like to be light. I like to be, you know, you won't find me sitting in a corner with my head down. Like it's not, I'm probably doing handstands against the wall or something stupid like I should be doing, wasting energy other places.
Have you found that you've always been that way in terms of the other sports as well, or is that something that's maybe changed over time as you've developed as an athlete, or is it
Um,
you've always been kind of chill regardless?
I think I have a lot of nervous energy. So I remember specifically before floor routines and vault, I would dance while waiting. Like I would just like,
Keep moving.
oh, here we go. And they're like, I don't know what music's playing, but I'm just like kind of getting the jitters out and then would be able to go. Um, One thing that I found through work is that I have been able to identify a flow state in myself and like what does that look like? You know, when you're having that like out of body experience and your body's just doing the thing. For me, it was during surgery. Like I could do a C-section and it would feel like a symphony is playing and I'm just like doing the thing and I'm above myself, watching myself do it. It's weird. It is, but it was like it just happened and it was like, oh, and here's the uterus and I'm like, and the baby, and now we just sipple for the next hour because it's so much stuff to sew, you know, and it's just, you're just doing all the things. I found that when I know something is like my job, I can like turn it on. If I know I'm
And
gonna do
execute.
calving and I get into a C-section, I know it's my job. And it's just like, my body's just like ready. There's different things that can kind of help you like get into that. One of them is if you're too focused on something, say like the cues on your squat or something, and you tend to scowl or frown and you're forward, like you kind of, you can see like your view is becoming like a myopic view, right? If you smile, it breaks that focus, that forward push in your frontal lobe, and it pushes it to the back of your brain where your habit and repetitiveness takes over, like your subconscious takes over. And so if you can kind of like break that and not be too in on yourself, typically your movements flow through a series better than if you were to be like scowling, you know, and you're like, push it back,
Very cool.
go back to the habits. Your body knows what it's doing. It's all back here. It knows what it's doing. So you can kind of like push it back and then you can kind of enter into whatever, squat, bench, deadlift, golf swing, doesn't matter. And so I found that to do that, I can kind of, if I can smile before and I can break that over concentrated face, I can just do what my body has been trained to do, and then just try to listen for the cues so I don't, miss a rack command or something. But like,
Important also.
kind of just get it. Like usually if you're thinking too many things, like too many cues, too many whatever, your smooth motion becomes disjointed. And you're like, I wobbled so much on that squat. I was all over the place because you're too here. And you're trying too much to make it too perfect. And you're thinking it's too hard. Push it to the back and let your body do what it does.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You see a lot of people come out and they're kind of like smiling and just like exuding this like confidence, right?
Yeah.
It's funny. I've never actually heard that like the smile is relating to just like letting your body do what it knows how to do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's
I think
what
it
we
will
train for,
depend a
right?
lot on the lifter psychology though too. Like I know certain people like need a little bit more I think they call it arousal. It's a weird term, but like I think some people need a lot higher level of arousal when they're getting to like those top end lifts.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends.
Yeah, but I think it's something to think about too, is like, you're trying, you spend how many days a week, how many weeks, months, a year pushing yourself to do the same move over and over and over. So, train so much, not so that you get it right, but you train so much so that you can't get it wrong. But then when you're in a high pressure situation, you tend to overthink. You're like, oh God, don't forget. That's why your cues, you only have 2 to 3 per lift anyway, because your brain can't manage more than that. And if you're doing too many things, like say you're in the warm-up room, you're like, oh, that's a good cue. Not a good time to start it.
No.
Like, go back to the 2 or 3 that you were at and just let it flow. This is the time to just tell your body, like, here we go. Like, this is the time that we've been training for. This is the good stuff. And then just try, like, for me, a lot of times I had told Garrett, I said, tell me it's my job. Because when I know it's my job for a C-section, I can have a symphony playing and an out-of-body experience. I want that out here. This is your job. And when it's my job, my body and my brain's like, oh, we know what we're doing. This is, surgery hands or, squat or deadlift or whatever. Like, you know what you're doing. Don't overthink it. Just go do your job,
Gives you permission to trust in yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, 2 to 3 cues. I mean, 3 is a lot. So 2 is usually enough to be like first half of the lift, second half of the lift, and you're done kind of thing.
Yeah, I like the idea of just getting into that flow state and just kind of like doing, or like even just thinking like push, like up, lift hard.
100%.
Because like when you're at that point, you're not trying to think about all these like crazy technical things.
And
you're
if
just
you
kind of like locked.
It's too confusing. Your body's like, what? And then your brain is not like, where's the push? You're like, who knows? There. Somewhere else. But yeah, I think that's like that. I drove a lot for work, so I listened to a lot of podcasts, and those are some of the really interesting things I've picked up. But I've noticed in myself that I've implemented them, whether it's with the help of my psychologist or just having heard it and thought, yeah, that makes sense, and then just like kind of put them into practice over the years. But yeah, that's that smile one. I mean, you'll notice sometimes when you smile with a mouth guard in, God, you look weird. It's like and you're like a chipmunk.
I was even gonna say it's almost like a little bit of psychological warfare too. You see Emily in the warm-up room with her crossword puzzle, just smiling like everyone's
you were like, Jesus, I'll go with her. What are in those Sour Patch Kids?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about your goals a little bit when it comes to nationals? If you want to say numbers and stuff like that, or you don't have to if you don't want to, but we can just.
I don't.
Okay.
Tell you when I hit them. How about that? But
that sounds
written
good.
on my
whiteboard.
Plan. Yeah.
I think that's a common theme. I've seen lots of whiteboards.
Yeah. I was gonna say you're creeping towards that 500 kilo total mark. Will that be kind of a big one on the horizon?
Well, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll know. We'll know when she can.
That's right. Yeah.
So obviously on the immediate horizon, it's nationals. That's the big goal that's coming up. What's kind of next for you after that? What's your kind of big plan?
Well, win.
Yes.
So then I can plan for Worlds and have like a long off season. So much so that I didn't make myself a birthday cake, and I am really looking forward to making myself a birthday cake after nationals. Like my birthday was like on the 1st of August, so
Oh, jeez.
I really want a birthday cake. So I'm just waiting to make a cake, really.
Are you just like locked in with a diet right now, or just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
for
yeah.
the most part. I mean, I was traveling for almost 2 weeks, and so I'm trying to like get my steps back up and my water intake back in, and uh I'm fine on weight. I have this amazing nutrition coach. I don't know why I struggled with that. Amazing nutrition coach. I used him before after I had Charlie to get back into like some semblance of I knew what I was doing with my life and wanted to feel good and look good in my skin and be, competent and stuff. And he was awesome for me then. And then I reached out just before Westerns and was like, can we no, just before Worlds. And I was like, can we work together again? Because I feel like my nutrition needs to like I need to be better at it. And so we've been working together since then, and he's awesome. It's Greg from Evolve to Excel. I believe they were Canadian and they moved to Spain, and so he's Canadian. Him and his wife run it. I believe there's another coach there, but he was my coach before, so he's my coach again, and he's pretty awesome. And I trust him with what we're doing as far as weight management and plans moving forward, as far as how bulky can I get before the next meet type stuff. And
Very
do it
cool.
not a dirty bulk. I gotta do better. So that's why I hired someone.
Do you typically like diet like pretty close to your weight class, or will you do like a water cut, gut cut kind of thing?
I usually gut cut, but we found that I can gut cut quite a bit. So I'm sitting heavier right now than I usually do pre-meet. Um, Knowing that, I mean, I weighed in really light for Worlds. Like I need to stop weighing in the lightest in the session. Like that's what we're trying to avoid. So, um, yeah, but I was in control of my own cuts there for a while, and I would cut for like 12 weeks. Like I would just slow and steady all the way in, be at weight about a week out, and then I would weigh like 2 kilos under, and I'm just like, there's got to be a better way. So I've been sitting at like 65, 66 still, and we're pretty confident that a gut cut and maybe just a little bit of water manipulation would get me under 63 on the day. But I let him worry about that. And I'm just like doing my best to make all of the food that I'm eating, whole foods like chicken and noodles. And I honestly have like one protein shake a day. It's not much, but everything else is actual like sustenance instead of water plus.
Very cool. How
Yeah.
many like calories do you eat a day and stuff like that? Do you
My goal is 2150 and 155 grams of protein. I'm usually like 170 protein by the time I'm done with the day. And then I don't care about carbs or fats. I just eat
okay.
whatever to fill
That's
the.
awesome. That's a good amount of food too to like be able to just kind of like slowly cut into the meat.
Yeah, I'm usually like 1800 calories. And so when he was like, "Oh, we're going 21," I was like, "What?"
Like hell yeah.
I'm
Very
gonna have
nice.
a couple
You
of
could have maybe even fit in that birthday cake.
right. Well, that's the thing. I know my carrot cake is dangerous, and so if I were to make a
Okay.
carrot cake for myself, I'm gonna be 69 kilos, and this is not gonna be well. So I have to be careful. So that's why I said I'm gonna wait till after nationals, and then I'm going to enjoy my carrot cake, which is gonna be like I'm gonna eat half of it myself.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very nice. So I
Yeah.
guess your plan is 63, like long term, like that's a nice comfortable weight class for you.
Yeah, I think to do 69 and do it well, I would have to get a whole new wardrobe, and I'm not ready for that. I think I
Yeah.
have some filling out of the 63s to do yet. Considering I can weigh in at 61, like I need to get heavy enough that it's tougher to get into, and then
Yeah.
we'll decide from there. Yeah.
Very cool. So after nationals, which is a nice kind of bulking period or lean bulk, I guess, with some
Yeah,
carrot cake on the side.
exactly. Exactly. And then it'll be nice because it'll be over Christmas, and I don't have to be like, well, Christmas cookies. Like 90% of my Christmas cookies this year went into the freezer. Like that's disappointing. I like doing them. Like baking, I found baking was a very high like stress relief activity for me. So it's when I'm cutting, it's absolute garbage because I'm cooking or baking because I'm stressed, but I can't eat it because I'm cutting, and I'm just like, this is the worst. Like, why
Yeah.
can't I do something better? Like knit or something like. But no, I gotta do something that I can't even enjoy. Everything goes into the freezer and then it comes out like one cookie a week kind of thing. And it's just macarons. I'm trying really hard to get good at those, but I'm gonna blame my oven, not my technique.
Yeah, they're hard. They're hard to make.
They're so good. Even when they suck, they're so good. You know, when they're
Oh,
like
yeah.
crumbly and you're just like, well, they still taste
Yeah.
good.
You can't actually mess them up, I don't think.
All right. Well, I think, do we have anything else to add, guys? Do you have anything we didn't touch on that you want to kind of throw in there?
No, I think we pretty much touched on everything. Emily, you did an awesome job and really gave us a lot of, I think, very helpful and very valuable information too. I'm
I want
walking
to tell
with
you one more thing.
tips. Yes.
I can deadlift like a lot. Like, okay, a lot, relatively a lot, right? Over 400
a
pounds for
lot.
some of my size is kind of a lot.
Kind of.
Not
I
kind
got
of,
a
it is.
confession though.
Yeah.
Are you ready? I can't open a pickle jar.
Oh no.
Incapable. I have to like bang it on the counter and get like the silicone thing. I cannot open. We went to a friend's house and when we were out in BC and they're like someone got out the pickles, of course, and then they're like, "Oh, we're having them for dinner." Blah, blah, blah. It's like all of my husband's friends and there's like 10 of them around and they're like, "Give it to her. She's the strongest one." And I'm just like, I can't.
No. My nemesis.
Yeah.
I said, if I can open a pickle jar, it's over for you bitches.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when they'll know.
I'm gonna come into the warm-up room and be like,
Yep.
everyone's
They'll
Oh,
just hear the
shit.
cracking sound.
You guys are done. That's
Oh.
hilarious. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This has been awesome. I think super insightful for like a lot of people that are trying to balance stressful jobs and just all that kind of stuff. Did you freeze again? I think she might have froze.
Oh.
Oh, you're
Oh,
back.
no.
There we
go.
She's back.
I was like, right at the end.
No, I know. Yeah, I want to say like good luck with nationals prep and everything. I hope that goes well.
Yeah, thank you. And for you too. I mean, it's just I'm really excited to see everyone. It'll be so much fun, I think. I'm hoping that I can just text you at the end and then be like, guess what? You know, we did it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like Summerside
Remember that
PI,
goal?
we went there last year and it was like super nice. It's a really small town and there'll be a lot of us there, but it'll be fun.
That's I can't wait.
I don't know how the town's infrastructure is gonna
handle it.
Well, they said the one restaurant's gonna be open late for us. So I'm gonna be like, buddy, I don't think you understand the amount of food
Yeah, you better order like
that you need
3 times the supply.
Right.
Yeah.
For 1 week, get ready.
Yeah. Honestly, that's key though, because last time we were there, I think I finished competing late and it was like maybe 8 p.m. and everything was closed. Like we couldn't even get food.
Oh,
So it's
that's
like
so depressing.
yeah. Because it is very
no.
small town, like and like out of I guess touristy season. So yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad, what's his name? Gentleman Gyms or something that's going to be open late.
It is Gentleman Gyms. And I remember them because we tried to go there and it was closed.
Oh, amazing.
So this time.
He's ready. He knows. Best of
All right, awesome.
Well, thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate being asked to come and chat about things because it's super fun. You guys are awesome and I'm happy to take part. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. This was awesome. All right. All right, guys.
Okay. Bye for now.
Listen.